The UAE's retail landscape has earned its reputation as a shopper's paradise. Valued at $30 billion in 2023, research shows the sector is projected to top nearly $43 billion in 5 years. Leading this growth are companies such as the Apparel Group, a homegrown business founded in 1996 by Sima, which currently operates more than 85 brands across 14 countries. With a growth plan that includes expansion into new markets and a possible listing in a few years, Xavier caught up with Sima to find out how the group is changing the face of retail.
2024 is, I think, the most exciting year for us because we're at the threshold of making so many changes, not just from just a corporate point of view, but also as an organization, where we're headed, our goals, our goalpost has moved again, as it does. You know, when you live in this city and you grow up in this city, you're never stagnant and you're never thinking, yes, I've arrived. You're always thinking, what do I do next? So Apparel Group is no different from the way this city functions. And yeah, we are constantly thinking of new things and how do we do. For example, my daughter launched our first 100% sustainable athleisure wear brand called F5. And we've been dormant with it because we were waiting for the little miss to go off to university before we took it over. So now that we've taken it over to some extent, we're gonna take it to the next level. We're trying to make this one of our first sustainable global brands. We have 85 plus brands. A majority of our portfolio is franchises, but that is changing. That's changing quite rapidly. We're trying to comprise more of whether it's JVs or licensing is also something that we're very good at, like our BHPC brand, Beverly Hills Polo Club, is a licensing brand. We've opened, I think, the 150th store for it. So we're doing some phenomenal work, but there's more to be done. There's more to be done as the landscape of retail changes, as not just omni-channel comes into play, but AI comes into play. It's going to get more and more challenging. So that's where we're headed. So 85 plus brands, 14 countries. We've added South Asia to our portfolio, which wasn't there earlier. It was more GCC. Now we're more South Asia as well. Across 22,000 plus employees and across 2,200 stores. F&B is a sector that we're very, very advanced in, and we're now starting to create our own homegrown brands like Sushi Library. I hope you've tried it. It's honestly, it came because my husband got so sick of seeing our Deliveroo and Talabat bills of different sushi places. He's like, why is there such a craze? And that was it. The kids actually made us create Sushi Library. So, and it's doing phenomenally well. We're in quite a few of the GCC countries and we plan to go bigger and better with that. So Saudi for us is a huge deal. It's going to be for the next couple of years. As they expand, we want to expand too. This is the time to ride the wave, right? The Saudi wave. So for us, right now, we're sitting at 29 brands, 610 stores, 4,100 people. We want to get this to go bigger because we believe the country has a capacity to handle a lot bigger. My CEO was very energized when we were last there for the Retail Leaders Circle, and when I was announcing this to the teams that, you know, we want to hit 1,000 stores, and I was looking at him going, 2 years, and he looks at me and he goes, maybe this year. So maybe this year, inshallah, as they say. I think the GCC will always stay very prominent and very close to our hearts because this is where we started. South Asia is something that we look at strategically, especially for the numbers, because somewhere like India, the wallet size or the per capita might not be the same, but the numbers and the volumes more than make up for it. So, you know, we have brands, like I said, like Victoria's Secret or Bath and Body Works and many others. And we're forever growing that segment, that particular market. We've also added a lot more South Asian countries now to us. We've added Thailand, we've always had Singapore, but we've added Indonesia and a few more. So I think the group overall is just on a rise. So look, our biggest JV, I would say, one of them is Nysa. Nysa is a JV with Nykaa, which you know is an omni-channel beauty platform based out of India. I love the founder, Falguni. So Nysa for us is a strategic move into the beauty segment in a much larger way, simply because we believe there's so much growth potential for that segment in this region. Secondly, we also have Forever New that we've done a JV with, and we have Steve Madden. Steve Madden has actually launched its first online store as well in the GCC. Not just that, but we're of course adding more franchises, like we've just done a tie-up with marquee brands for their 5 brands, which are BCBG, Bruno Magli, Martha Stewart, Sur La Table, and Ben Sherman. Those are our 5 new brands, but we're hoping to add another 10 as the year goes along. We've done Firehouse subs. We've got a few under negotiations. They're not signed yet, so I can't share them, but they are happening. For us, growth is a constant. Mentally, we believe we would go anywhere that we feel will have not just a capacity to grow, but it will add and make our portfolio stronger. So there is no industry or sector that I can say to you that we would not consider. Having said that, of course, pharma, things like that, where there's a certain skill set required, that is off the table for us. But anything to do with hospitality, entertainment, fashion, retail, F&B, beauty, bring it up. We are game. We're firming up our presence in South Asia with many more brands. We're firming up our online presence in the GCC as well as our brick and mortar. I see, like I said, the prime focus for the company is Saudi, it is India. And sectors, we are in the sectors that we want to be in, which is fashion, footwear, F&B, beauty. Those are the ones. We're going to try dabbling our feet into, I wouldn't say luxury, but mid-luxury, because I don't think we're cut out for high-end luxury, but you never say no. I think by 2030, I would love to see the company have at least 20% of its portfolio with homegrown brands that have a global presence. Be it F&B, be it athleisure, be it footwear, be it fashion. I think we owe our people and ourselves that much. I think for too long, we've done a lot of franchising and made a lot of people a lot of money. I think it's time for us to take a little bit of that IP value or that JV value back. So we're already in South Africa and we're also in Egypt, but I think our mandate is to try and enter more markets that have political stability. I think anywhere that has political stability, the currency is stable, that makes it easier to expand. Anywhere where that's not the case, of course, we're still hesitant like most of our counterparts. I mean, it would seem like it's the most viable next step, right? And it is on the horizon, I would say the next 5 to 7 years. So we are definitely considering that. We're also, we're looking at opening a minimum of 5 stores this year, and by next year, hopefully it'll be 10. Of course, my daughter's spearheading this one, my eldest, not the one who created the athleisure brand, but she is on the ball with Falguni, realizing that there's so much to be done in this particular segment, because not just are you trying to do brands that are small or niche, but you're also trying to do like halal brands, you're trying to do brands without alcohol, you're trying to do sustainable brands. There is just such a big gap still for this kind of segment.
The e-commerce boom, ignited by the lockdowns of COVID-19, continues to transform the way we retail. Thanks to a world-class logistics and advanced digital infrastructure, the UAE has become a stronghold for e-commerce. This evolving landscape has seen the Apparel Group leverage its position in this space since the launch of its online fashion store, sixstreet.com, in 2016. A few years later, and with 2,000 of its stores shut at the peak of a pandemic, e-commerce would become an integral part of Apparel's ambitious digital strategy.
Honestly, 5 or 7 years ago, I said to him, Nilesh, we're going to die. As a company, we're going to die if we don't move on to the online space, because it's become clear that players will come in who can sell our products at the same. So either we need to start having contracts like how we did about the metaverse, about lots of stuff, right? Where we need to have contracts that have into place that we are going to be the ones to sell and distribute these products online and offline. Having said that, I have to say COVID really it just sped up everything for us. What would have taken us 3 years to kind of go into, within 3 months, 6th Street was on another level. We were constantly just pushing and pushing and pushing. So 6th Street honestly has gone leaps and much more beyond because of the amount of energy that went into it during COVID. Because when you have 2,200 stores closed, where's the income coming from? How are we going to pay people that we actually retained salaries? I don't think bricks and mortar will ever die out. I think too many of us love, at least not in the GCC. I don't know about the rest of the world, to be honest, because it's different, right? Like when you go to India and you want to get from one mall to your house or back, there's traffic, there's pollution, there's a lot of stuff that happens. Whereas in the GCC, it's a pleasant drive. It's actually entertainment to go shopping in the mall. What I do see happening is that a lot of the actual sales will take place a lot more at home than they will at the store. And I do think the store will become kind of like a showroom, which is what our Phygital store is, you know, the one in Dubai Hills Mall. That's the first Phygital store in the region. And that's what it is. It's primarily almost like a showroom or a showcase, because you can't have that many SKUs on display. So this way you walk in, you have an iPad and they can show you a few, and then you can choose what you want and have it delivered. I think we're gonna see way more Phygital stores in the future than just plain brick and mortar. These days, all I can think and talk about is 3D printing. I feel it's being underutilized. I don't think we're doing enough of it. And I do feel that serious players will, already Adidas made a shoe out of it, F5 has done a few things with it. I think serious players are going to realize that in order to avoid all these landfills of trash, of garments that we, fast fashion, etc., we're going to have to get to a model whereby a customer pre-orders, buys, and then we make it. I think retail is going to go through such a huge disruption. It hasn't even hit us yet. In the next 5 years, I anticipate you will no longer, you might go off to, let's say, the sales floor, like the brick and mortar store, to just feel and touch the fabric. But at the end of the day, 2 things will happen. One, I think it'll be highly customized and personalized, whereby you can actually put in your measurements and they'll create it to fit you, your body. One is that. Second is, I think the pre-order model to me is going to become super relevant, because like I said, the future generations don't want landfills of garments that were never sold and never taken. So to avoid all of that wastage, we're going to have to switch to this.
Despite escalating economic and political challenges facing the MENA region since 2023, UAE consumer spending rose by 13% last year, driven by a 14% increase in the retail economy. For companies such as the Apparel Group, this positive trend translates into a rise in consumer confidence and purchasing power, with Sima calling these the perfect ingredients to create a revolution in the retail space.